Who's the dumbest person you've ever met? A girl in my school was using a calculator on a test and typed in the math problem in wrong. She then proceeded to type syntax error as an answer. Leslie, I typed your symptoms into the thing up here and it says you could have network connectivity problems. Andy Dwyer. Back in high school, a guy named Kevin was arguing with me and anyone who would listen, saying that STDs are prevented by having sex. After about a minute of explaining to him what STD meant, I decided to just say let's agree to disagree, but he didn't let it go. He pulled out a $50 bill from his wallet and bet me that he was right. After he looked it up, the crowd mentality forced him to pay up. TLDR. Dumb high school student bet me $50 that STDs are prevented by having sex. And the legend of Kevin continues. Stay classy, Kevin. My psych class. One girl asked is eye color a behavior? Not really stupid, more WTF. But she also said she wanted to have a pet baby, not wanting a pet, or a baby, a pet baby human. I knew a guy who shot up peanut oil to slow the flow of blood to his brain to keep him in a constant state of being high. He's dead now, not from the peanut oil, drug overdose a few years later. I know a guy who got a composite score of 4 on his ACT. I know, it sounds impossible. I thought it was 2, but I was at his house when his mom got the mail with his score on there, and I saw the piece of paper myself. The guy who wound up wanting to fight me because I was explaining to him that calamari was Italian for squid. He insisted people do not ever eat squid. The delightful conversation with a man who insisted all zebras in Africa are extinct, although I had just returned from there with photographic evidence from just 2 weeks before. I had to explain to a girl that penguins were not fish. I had to explain to another girl who I told this story to why the first girl was not correct. I had to explain to my middle school science teacher that penguins were, in fact, birds, not mammals. That was a difficult class to deal with. Brother's girlfriend. Did you know Poland was the only country not affected by World War II? Hitler wasn't a bad guy, they just gave him the wrong job. I like cows, they're cute and they have big eyes, but I don't like horses. They're big and they look like cows. Wine that comes in plastic is fancier than wine that comes in glass bottles, because plastic has more technology. As my brother is cooking her a filet mignon, she looks at the steak in the pan for a minute before asking, is that the whole fish? But it's got technology in it. A girl in my class believed that Neanderthals ate ice and cheese. Bonus, she didn't know eggs came from chickens. She thought they were manufactured in a factory. Well, they're made by chickens, often mass-produced in a factory. I worked with this girl last summer, who was beyond dumb. At first it was amusing, but then it just got really sad. We were talking about Nelson Mandela being really sick. This was in June, and she said, well, I sure hope she'll be okay. Her music is so good. She thought World War II was between America and Africa. She thought potatoes could only grow in America, and when asked what her boyfriend's name was, she said, I can't really pronounce it, so I just call him Mike. He spells it like M-I-C-H-A-E-L. I saw the guy try to plug a 3.5mm headphone jack into a USB port once. Not accidentally or anything, he actually spent a good minute working it out. Hey, don't judge, maybe he was real stoned. Almost forgot about my college roommate. She once missed the first 3 exits to a city because she forgot where she was going. She once told me she would never breastfeed her children because it would hurt too much to poke the holes. When asked how she thought animals nursed their young, she said, well, don't they just gnaw the ends off? I imagined getting a nipple gnawed off. I got dizzy with fear. There was a girl in my high school who thought rhinos were the last remaining dinosaurs. Oh, and she was shocked when she found out that rice came from plants. Smart girl, that one. I know a girl who genuinely believes that gorillas and giraffes are not real and the ones at the local zoo are just people in costumes. We had to watch the movie Defiance in my English class, and afterwards this girl put her hand up and asked, is Jewish a country? Later on, after watching Defiance, which is about 3 Jewish brothers in Nazi-occupied Europe, for the second time she asked, wait, were they brothers? I wanted to throw a stapler at her. Had a roommate who was about 6 months late on rent. It's a 10-month lease and we're in month 8. They're threatening to sue us. He got a tuition refund. $700. 2 months rent. He goes to play poker with it. Despite our constant pleas not to. Doubles up. He shows us the $1,400. Because he's dumb like that. This is Saturday night. Office is closed Sunday. I go to work Saturday night. And then work a long shift Sunday. Feeling good. Monday after classes. He comes in. First question. Did you pay the rent? Bumbling stumbling excuses. I paid off some credit card balances and some other money I owed my parents. So how much did you give? The complex none. Blew my freaking lid. Almost punched him right then and there. I will bet every penny to my name that he went back to the tables Sunday night and lost it all. Somehow he came up with the money though. He came up with the money by owing his parent again. Had a classmate in 8th grade who legitimately thought that the ocean had no bottom. Our teacher showed a diagram of the deepness of the ocean, and she just couldn't grasp it. I don't know how you get all the way to 8th grade without learning that the ocean doesn't just drop off into nothing. That's almost endearing. This is seeing the world with the wonder of a small child. I wished I could turn dumb wonder mode on and off. A girl from high school physics. If the speed of light is 310 circumflex 8 ms, what is the speed of dark? And later that year, if China is 12 hours ahead of us, why didn't they warn us about 9/11? I can't make this stuff up. A girl in my 10th grade history class said, I don't believe in Europe because I haven't seen it. Also a different kid was asked to leave the class and he replied, BN how is I supposed to learn if I leave the joy of public education? Well, that kid had a point. I have posted this before, but in freshman biology class we were reviewing the subatomic particles, and the teacher asked a girl to list them. She responds with protons, electrons, and Decepticons and could not figure out why the class was laughing at her. Duh, clearly the Decepticons are not neutral. Looking over a test I took in college, one of the girls in the class with me was amazed that I got an A. She said, that test was so hard, I failed it. I asked her if she studied at all. She said no, and she told me she was drunk when she took the test. Girl in my astronomy class. So if I went out into space could I like push the stars around and knock them into each other and stuff? Teacher, no, they are incredible massive objects. Girl, but they look so little. I was around 8-10, or whatever the normal age is when you know your own address, and I just made a new friend and she invited me over to her house to hang out. I planned on dropping by after taking my things home, so naturally I asked for her address. She grabbed a paper and pencil and started drawing 3 houses. She pointed to the middle house and said, I live here. TLDR. Never talked to her again. This girl at my school. I don't swim a lot during the summer because I do not want to get water cancer. You mean skin cancer? From the sun? Number. Water cancer. You can get cancer from the pool water. Help me. This girl saw double cheeseburger on a restaurant menu and she got all excited, thinking it meant double cheeseburger, extra cheese. She was confused when there was 2 patties in the burger. That girl was me. My boyfriend still laughs at me. TLDR. I like cheese. A true double cheeseburger has both 2 patties and 2 slices of cheese. This is the reason that McDonald's serves both a double cheeseburger, 2 patties, 2 slices of cheese, and a cheaper McDouble, 2 patties, 1 slice of cheese. If you desire a single patty and 2 slices of cheese, I'm not sure how to help you. This girl, at the age of 22, took an electric fan and threw it in a bathtub to clean it. The apartment lit on fire. She was surprised. See, fan death is real. This isn't close to the stupidest thing she said, but it's the only thing I can remember. Girl at my high school admitted in class to pouring an entire jug of antifreeze on her windshield to melt the ice. That butt though. Probably a girl from my high school history class. 2 classic quotes of hers are, where was the Berlin Wall? So, and did Hitler not like Jews? In 12th grade someone in my class asked where Narnia was. They were being 100% serious. My old roommate's boyfriend. He spent the better portion of dinner movie stating how food has too much preservatives in it anymore, and that's why there are trees that have been petrified. Petrified trees, because of preservatives in food. Also, you can't eat buckyballs, or any magnet in general, because your body works off of electrical currents, and if you ate a magnet, it could disrupt them. She was also pretty dumb, spent an entire night sobbing about being pregnant, gets an abortion, and then makes a point to call out people on Facebook for discussing the topic, saying things like I could never do that to an unborn child. Every child is a gift. When that whole brainless kid fiasco was happening on Facebook a few years back, I don't miss either of them. A co-worker of my dad's, whom I've met a few times. She was a middle-aged woman and she believed that there were huge black lines on the ground separating each of the states in the US. You know how they show the state borders on political maps? Yeah, she thought those were really there. Well, the one between Canada and the US is there, and we all know Canada is a state. My ex-roommate's boyfriend. He was 22, he actually idolized Bieber, One Direction, etc., and did everything he could to be like them. He was also homophobic, probably gay because he often wore his girlfriend's clothes from Forever 21, and refused to get a job because the band is totally gonna make it. He also pushed his girlfriend down a set of stairs, and was so in love with himself that he took mirror selfies, posted them on his Facebook, then sent them to his Facebook page that he made for himself. Absolutely the worst person I've ever met. To make sure he didn't come to the house, I actually convinced him that our building was built on an ancient Indian burial ground and that strange things did happen from time to time. He never came back. I like how pushed her down the stairs is slid in there like he left dirty plates on the counter. Katy Perry once shopped the Whole Foods market I manage. She wouldn't let my cashier's hand touch her food. The personal assistant proceeded to take my cashier's spot, insisting Katy may get sick from worker contact. That's pretty dumb. One of my wife's girlfriends. Someone told her a riddle about a train traveling north at a certain speed etc. To which she replied, "Oh, you can't fool me, because I know that north is up points to the sky." A kid I knew in 5th grade, Stevie. One day the teacher is walking throughout the classroom and his shoe gets stuck on some red sticky stuff. He looks at it, sees a short trail, and follows it back to Stevie's desk. He looks inside Stevie's desk and finds sticky red goo covering a piece of sticky red paper with good humor written on it. Yeah, Stevie brought a popsicle back from lunch and put it in his desk so that he could eat it later. That's some good humor right there. My college roommate was, without a doubt, the dumbest person I have ever met. She was writing a paper about segregation, could not grasp how separate but equal was a bad thing despite two people trying their damnedest to explain it to her. After nearly half an hour my other roommate and I just gave up and left the room. I still wonder how she passed that class. And she once asked what the difference between legal and illegal was. She wanted to know which was the bad one. This girl now teaches elementary school. Her poor students. A friend of mine back in 6th grade learned only natural born citizens can become president of the United States. Says she can't become president as she was a C-section baby. Yeah, that's why she can't become president. No one will ever see this on a thread this old, but I once worked with someone who asked me if they make air conditioners, why don't they make air shampoo, and was dead serious. I once watched a girl at the gas station pump a Ford Focus full of diesel because it was the lowest price at the time. When I was 19, I waited tables with a girl who didn't know how to tell time. She was 18, fresh out of high school. Now, she wasn't like mentally retarded or anything, she was just really dumb. She also went to the kitchen and asked the cooks how to roll a joint. She explained that she had weed and paper, but couldn't roll it. Our boss was right behind, and had to have heard her. The cooks told her to shut the frick up. She did stuff like that all the time, and she sat people at the wrong tables, messed up orders, and forgot her schedule and would be late, miss shifts a lot. Anyway, she had a scholarship to play volleyball at the university, but dropped out of college after she failed the athlete's drug test about 2 months into her first semester. I think she's in beauty school now. So do you speak Asian? What the frick, girl? What the frick? The worst part is she asked me that question twice that day. This chick I used to work with. Here's a prime example. I told her I was going to Ethiopia and she replied, "Oh my god, Europe is supposed to be beautiful this time of year." I also told her I was from Philly. I now live in California and she asked what state is that in? Boston? Maybe she misheard and thought you said Estonia. The dumbass that's always looking at me through the wall of my bathroom, mimicking everything I do. He just looks like a bee. You should fight him. I have a friend who one day asked with complete sincerity, "Who is this Al-Qaeda guy, and why is everyone so mad at him anyway?" A teacher I worked with as an assistant needed me to record myself reading questions aloud for a listening test. It took me almost 5 minutes of arguing to explain that screaming into the jack the mic plugs into wouldn't work. Some girl I randomly met in public who was fighting with her boyfriend and tried to drag me into it to back her up. She kept insisting that there were 52 states because Hawaii and Alaska were the last two. Dummy. But there are 49 states because Pluto is not a planet anymore. One girl in high school, let's call her Lisa, honestly thought that gravity didn't exist and the reason why we didn't just float away was because of our weight. Took about 10 minutes to explain that gravity gave us our weight. She then proceeded to ask if gravity could, in her words, break like a pencil. After explaining this impossibility, she finally stopped talking. The very next day, she confused Newton with Al Gore. No joke. She was really nice, though. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.